Hi, my name is Jacob Golden, and I will be interviewing Dean Golden here with me. Thank you for your time today. We're going to be focusing on the culture back when you were growing up in the generation of baby boomers. So, my first question is, what was the primary way of communication when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, the first uh, communication we had was letters, postcards, and I think I was about this tall when I first went over to my great grandma's house and found out what a party line was. Party line was if you picked it up, there was a group of people, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 blocks that were on that one line, and if you picked it up and nobody was there, you got to make a call. If you picked it up and somebody was talking, you either said, I have an emergency, can I call, can I interrupt you? Or you hung up and waited till somebody wasn't on the line.
It must have been a pretty crazy time.
It was a very crazy time. Like I said, most of it was letters, postcards, you sent something out. So you planned, you planned way ahead of what you do nowadays.
Okay, the next question is, what was the primary role of men when you were growing up?
It's much like today, provider, do it all, know it all, I mean, fix it all, something's wrong, dad, 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 dad. But mostly it was the provider, the money maker of the house. A lot of moms stayed home, took care of the kids, raised the kids while dad was out working.
All right. Would you say that loyalty and hard work was something said often to succeed?
Absolutely. Back in that age, a lot of people held their jobs for their entire career. My dad, for instance, had one job his whole life. He got back from the military, started at Eaton Company, and worked there till he retired. My Uncle Charlie worked at one place, Harnessfigger, his whole life, start to finish. So you had to have that drive because somebody got you in, and they put their name on the line, and it was you better perform for that person also. So loyalty was huge. You didn't go job shopping like you do now.
Right, you can't just pick up and leave whenever you want.
Right. It wasn't, well, that guy's paying 30 cents more because you never knew that. I mean, you were at work all day, you slept all night, and there was no, again, go back to the communication where there wasn't that you maybe bought a paper, but the Sunday news didn't have money. It just had applications and job requirements.
You can just go onto the internet and see that there's a job posting.
Correct.
Right. All right, number 4. Define and describe the most important or celebrated holiday of your culture.
I gotta think it's Christmas, just like pretty much everything. It was a gathering of the family. It was the tradition of watching Grandma how she cooked and what she served and how we all sat was a big thing in the living room. You had the adult table, you had the kids table, and eventually you got out of the kids table to get to the adult table. But unfortunately, somebody had to basically die to get from the kids table to the adult table, or somebody had to go somewhere else for that night.
Right, and basically everybody was there for Christmas, right?
Yeah, everybody, from top to bottom, grandkids to great grandkids to everybody.
All right. Were police ever involved in domestic disputes like they are today, or were they handled in house?
I think mostly handled in house because I don't remember police showing up for domestic stuff. It was, I mean, for a robbery or something like that, yeah. But I don't remember anything like domestic stuff, cops showing up. It was basically, well, we're married, we're still married, we're going to stay married, we're going to figure it out.
Right, it's not like today where anybody can just call the cops on their significant other if they're just acting up.
Right.
Something.
Right.
Gotcha. All right. When someone did you wrongfully, did you let them know directly, or did you beat around the bush and letting them know?
Oh, it was direct. It was right there. I'm walking over to your house. I don't appreciate the way. Or the mom walked over to the house and said, your kid's picking on my kid type thing. And then it was a lot of it, depending on the age, the parents talk to each other versus the kids. And then you get to a certain point. I don't know. I don't know what the age is, but at a certain age, you start taking care of your own problems and confronting or rationalizing or talking it out or compromising, but letting that other know you're not getting away with this.
There was never like oh, I'm just going to go talk to my friends about it. We're going to gossip about you, and maybe you'll find out a month from now.
No, because it was all, everybody knew what everybody was doing, because you were in tight communities. It wasn't where you were, you got in the car and you drove 50 miles and your friends, you got 100 mile an hour or 100-mile radius of all your friends.
Mm.
All your friends were in your neighborhood.
Right.
They knew where you lived. They knew who you hung with. They knew who the bully was. They knew who the everything was, and they knew exactly what was going on in the whole neighborhood.
Right. So if you have problems, they need to get figured out as
Yep.
soon as possible.
Yep.
All right. If you had an option to either text, Zoom, or speak to someone face to face, which would you choose and why?
Face to face, definitely. It's quicker. It's more personal. Texting has a little quirk to it. I mean, you can ask different questions or work around a system on a text. You don't have to go direct, but I prefer to get it quickly done, quickly resolved, so that's face to face.
Right, and you can ask them follow-up questions instantly, and you hear their tone of voice and
Yep.
everything.
Yeah, you get everything. You get the touch, the feel, the smell of everything of what you're talking about.
You don't have to guess if they're being sarcastic or anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you consider yourself a call me anytime, day or night type of person, and why do you think that is?
Absolutely. My whole working background is as I would rather fix a problem or try to prevent a problem immediately rather than it go on all night long and then have to walk into a bigger problem than a smaller problem that I could either stop, fix, or do something right there.
Right, so if something was going on at work at 3 a.m. and they call you, you wouldn't be mad at all as long as you know about the problem and you could somehow resolve it.
Correct. I would expect them not to call me at 3 a.m. unless it was something that, oh my God, it's got to be fixed. We got to call right now.
Only Dean knows how to deal with this.
Yep.
All right. How did the telephone impact your life?
Well, the telephone was a game saver as far as you could plan things. Back when I was a child, we set things up for a Friday night or a Saturday on the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty much set in stone because you had to call all your friends. They all had to figure out what they're doing, and so it was a plan. Today, I'm driving towards your house. I'm in my car. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to put some thought into what you were doing. You had to put out a plan. You had to pick a place. What are we doing? Who's coming? Who's invited? Stuff like that. You had to have a lot more thought into what you were doing.
Right. And like before the telephone, you had to send letters probably months in advance or a month in advance saying, hey, this is what we're trying to do this day, send it back to me, whatever your thoughts are.
Yep, it was a long time. And those are the big, those are the bigger things. During the week, you just met your friends, you talked to them, you rode your bikes around, but the big stuff, you had to plan it with letters, yes.
Especially around holidays.
Yep.
Okay. Do you think you could get more information out of a 5-minute phone call or hours emailing back and forth regarding a new project going on at work?
Oh, 5 minutes on the phone is always, I've gone through many situations where people email. I'm like, why don't we just pick up the phone?
Mm-hmm.
It eliminates the question after the question after the question to the first question, especially when you get multiple people on the email. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got their own thoughts, and it never jives out until way far down. So yeah, definitely a 5-minute phone call.
All right. And that's really all I have. So thank you for your time and answering my questions.
My pleasure.
It was great learning about the things that you've been through growing up. I haven't really asked you any of these questions in the previous time that we've had. But again, thank you for your time. And I appreciate you coming to my interview.
Thank you very much.